So tell me, what's the story? What's going on today?
Well, we're striking to save jobs and courses at the university because the management here seem intent on reducing the size of the university without very little negotiation. So we're asking them to stop the programme of cuts and enter into voluntary redundancy scheme and not cut all the courses. They're cutting whole areas: philosophy, Caribbean studies, lots of the humanities. So
what happens with that voluntary scheme? Was it a bluff?
Well, we're asking them to have one at the moment. The initial situation was there were going to be compulsory redundancies on statutory minimum terms. So already by just the threat of strike action, we've managed to secure doubling of the offer. But I mean, it's still not good enough, really. I mean, some of the people who are now running the university are ex-investment bankers. They wouldn't leave. They wouldn't accept those sort of terms. So why should staff? You know, some of who've been working here 20, 30 years.
Those guys in the printing centre.
Exactly, yeah.
We've had an excellent turnout. It's been a really good turnout. We've even had, just a little while ago, someone join on the picket line, which was absolutely fantastic. Heard our argument, decided there and then, I'm not going into it, I am joining, and he's still there now on the picket line. So absolutely fantastic. We've had some students come down and support us. Obviously there's not a huge amount of students about at the moment, but they've come down and lent support to us. UCU have been fantastic as well, and it's been a solid day of action here, absolutely. Our VC came in this morning and he looked rather concerned, so I think that's a good thing.
Well, how long have I been here today? Since about 8:30 this morning.
And what do you think? Do you think there's a good turnout? Or?
I think actually the turnout on the picket line hasn't been bad. Definitely in terms of people not coming to work, that's been really good. I think it's been quite solid amongst our unions. Our non-union members, maybe not so much, but definitely Unison, they've stayed away. A fair deal for all our staff. You know, we're campaigning hard for a voluntary redundancy scheme. If there have to be redundancies, we need a voluntary redundancy scheme first. Personally, I work in student services, and I don't want to see the services that meet our students' needs and transform their lives being slashed in the way that they are.
Is it true that the university is planning to merge student services with services?
That's the plan of action, yeah.
Would you go and say that you've got a lot in common with a librarian?
I need some convincing on that one. I can't see it at the moment, and nobody's kind of given me any information to change my mind. So
you should at least, if you're going to make redundancy, this should be last year's culture should be last year, not the first.
Style, is it?
Yeah.
Hi. What time do you arrive today?
8 o'clock.
What do you think the turnout is?
I think it's been a really good strike. I think it's been really solid. We've had good picket lines. We haven't had many people come to work. A number of people who've come in we've talked to, and they've joined the union on the picket lines. Yeah, it's been really good. It's been really encouraging. We've had a lot of support from the local community. A lot of cars have tooted their horns at us, and it's been very encouraging for our campaign. Yeah.
I hope that they are going to listen after today. Yes. But I think it's been successful. We have stopped people from coming in, and hopefully we're going to be stopping a lot more. It shouldn't be happening, but I think that if management aren't going to listen to us over the negotiating table, then we need to make a stand and show that we are united and that we are going to fight for what we believe in.
You agree?
I agree, yeah. I think it's been a very successful day, strong picket lines, and it's vindicated our position. What we're asking for, we're not being unreasonable, we're asking for a voluntary redundancy scheme and for 60 days grace for people to consider whether or not they want to take a voluntary redundancy scheme. We want them like an avoidance, a redundancy avoidance policy. And all the things, these are not unreasonable demands, they're very reasonable. It's about what's right and it's about what's fair for people who've put years of service into London Met and the students who expect to be supported. I work in the Department of Student Services. We're facing 16 redundancies in the department. It's a quarter of the department. And these are services that help people with disabilities, dyslexia, counselling, chaplaincy, advice, student development. These are essential services. And the idea that this university can survive with a quarter cut for that department is appalling. That's why we're making a stand here today.
Yes!
Is it you?
No!
It was me. Hello.
Hi, would you like to tell us your story?
Well, yeah, essentially I came into work, and when I got to the picket line I spoke with Eddie here, and he asked me if I'd like to join the union, and yeah, I started going over my reasons for why I was going to go into work and not strike, and I realised that they weren't that good, that if I was going to lose my job, I was going to lose my job whether or not I striked, and I should do something, I should stand on the principle, and so I signed up and I'm out here on the picket line.
That's good! And would you say that you didn't have enough information about what was going on, or what made you change your mind? Do you think the university was just withdrawing information from you in a way like...
No, I wouldn't say that. I'd say it was more that I was just worried for my job, and at some point I just realised that the best way to worry about my job was to try and do something about it, to actually sort of fight the cuts that are happening. I'm here. I'm standing with you.
Scholarships have already been awarded and places which they've already accepted.
Yeah.
And now they're cutting
Now they're not honouring them, so they've not voted yet, so they're terminating them. And it means that the students are then high and dry and can't carry on their second year or from their foundation onto their first year. That's my understanding.
I mentioned her the summer textbook investments. But I guess maybe
the last one tobacco and found it back.
Have you seen many people supporting the strike?
Yeah, there's quite a few actually, and I'm not actually a worker at London Met, but I've been to a few meetings and there's quite a lot of support outside of London Met. People coming down from different education groups, and I think it's building. I mean, because there's lots of different areas, people are quite spread out, but there seems to be people coming around and supporting the strikes in different places.
yeah.
Hi Holly, do you want to collaborate on this documentary about the strike?
Yes, I do.
So tell us, why are you here?
I'm here because well, for various reasons. I'm here definitely because I do not agree with pulling out humanities from the centre of the university, and the subjects which are being withdrawn have viability. They've got their students. The university is actually losing money by ringing people up and telling them not to come next year. And I'm here generally because the management of this university is not listening to perfectly valid points that are being put by the unions, and various programs are being axed without any consultation. And because I see this as part of the context of higher education that the government's got in mind. And I think we need popular support and people to realise realise that higher education needs to be defended. And particularly this university, because I feel that this university deals with a middle ground that is never talked about. It's either people who've got vocational skills, or it's people who are going to belong to the Russell Group who are getting their 3 A's and their A stars. But there's a huge body of students who benefit hugely from university education, who get high 2.2s, low 2.1s, fine. And that kind of value added to students, as it's called, is very important. So that's why I'm here.
Do you think there is something behind those cuts only in humanities? Like perhaps some people, they went on to say that there are ideological cuts, that they want to create an elite of people studying humanities and not much allow working class people to study?
I think whether or not that's what's actually intended, I think that's what's happening, in the sense that humanities traditionally the range of subjects that you offer in a university, and that's why it's called a university, has to be cross-subsidised. And this management's decided to go for a particular economic structure which makes all its departments self-sustaining, and it means that it can't be cross-subsidised. And that in essence means that you're going to axe any course which doesn't consistently balance its books. But the irony of that is that because of the poor management, because the university doesn't have any control over the actual figures, that the lecturers in humanities have had to do the mathematics themselves to prove to their own dean that what has been submitted is incorrect. And in spite of the fact that that's known by the Vice-Chancellor, it's known by the governors, they're insisting on seeing it through, and various members of their executive who are still in the humanities department are insisting that we restructure the programme for next year and the year after that on figures that are false. So there's no sense of rational, reasonable process here, even if there are elements of the way in which we operate as a university, where we place ourselves as a university that need to be attended to. But the widening participation agenda is very important, because I think that's one which the government is withdrawing its support from, largely because of this middle bracket of people who they don't believe in supporting, and also because they're now in a situation where they can't afford to have students come with subjects that they think are not going to get jobs at the end, albeit that the evidence shows, and that's come from Oxford University, it's come from independent research institutes, it's come from businesses themselves, that they're very pleased and happier to employ a humanities graduate than somebody who's had no process of thinking and no chance to expand their ideas.